friends. I am Healy. I am the host of Healthy and Redeemed, if you don't know me. And I wanted to do a video just talking about my recent vacation because I guess I did. So when we go on vacation, I'm normally the one that plans everything and kind of gets everything in order and plans out the days, what we're going to do each day and all that. Well, I wasn't that motivated to do it. It just sounded like a lot of work. It was like a lot of places we wanted to see. We had decided we wanted to rent an RV and go see some national parks. So if you've are on my channel or have looked, I've got a few national parks on there and a few things that we went to visit. And so I was thinking it's a lot of planning, a lot of work. I decided to ask AI to help me, which I thought was a brilliant idea, frankly. I use AI a lot to help me with a lot of things. I feel like it's my little assistant. I ask it to do a lot of research and stuff for me. One thing I found about AI, though, you always need to double check things. But I was thinking as I was working on our trip, I didn't really double check a lot of things. I printed out the itinerary. So basically what I did was I went to ChatGPT and I put in as many details as I could, like where we were going to go, how many days, like when so we decided to rent an RV. Did I say that already? I'm not sure, but so we're going to pick up an RV the day had to pick it up, the day we're going to return it. And so I was really specific about what we wanted to see while we were on this trip. And I also asked it to make suggestions if there are other places in the area that were good to see. And I also asked it to be real specific on the report, like what the mileage was going to be, how long between each place, to do the driving route that was going to be most efficient for us. And again, I asked it just, any recommended sites. So here's my evaluation, my analysis of AI vacation. Well, I started getting a little nervous because I am a planner by heart. So I started getting a little nervous before our trip. And so a few days before, I started kind of double checking a few things. And here's some things that we found out before we even left. Was one of the parks that we were going to go see, and that it recommended on a specific day, because we were going on the most efficient road route, was going to be closed. I had happened to download the National Park app and anyway, found out that it was going to be closed when we were there. It is open, but just on weekends because they're doing some construction or something. That was at Little Bighorn National Park, I think. Or maybe it's not a national park, maybe it's a state park. But anyway, found that out. And so I was like, okay, now we got to reroute. So I typed it in and said, hey, this is closed. Like, you didn't say that. And anyway, so we redid our thing. We still ended up driving by it because it was on our route, but so it didn't tell us that. One of the big things I found out like a couple days before was that even though I had put our RV size in the dimensions of our RV, because one of the things we wanted to go see was Needles Highway. And if you've been on that road, it's got a few tunnels because it's in Custer State Park and they've got some real narrow tunnels. And our RV could not fit through those tunnels, even though I had asked it like 3 times to make for sure. It did not pick up that we were not going to make it through. When I finally was really specific in what I asked, it did tell me that no, the final word was drive slow. I was thinking, so I ended up renting a Slingshot to just drive around that area, Needles Highway, Custer State Park, up to Mount Rushmore, and there were tunnels all through there. So luckily we did that. So that was another kind of big thing that if we had completely trusted AI, we would have been in a stinker. Because I watched some videos of some people driving their RVs through those tunnels and they got stuck. And I was like, that would be not only embarrassing, but it's not our RV. So yeah, that would be bad. One of the other things that AI did not tell us was one of the road closures that I had found on the internet. So I don't know why it didn't tell us, because, you know, AI like scans the internet. It's not like its own thing. Like it searches for all these places on the internet, and should have totally caught that. Should have caught the park closing, because that was on the internet. The tunnel sizes were on the internet. Like it should have caught those things. So those were some things that were not good, that could have got us into a lot of trouble had I not double checked. And I should have known better, because I always have to double check when I ask it to help me with other tasks. So, I had, you know, the more you work with AI, the more it gets to know you. And one of the things that I constantly tell it is, don't give me any fake information, because sometimes in a pleasing kind of mode, it will make up stuff if you ask it certain questions. So you have to be real specific about that. One of the other things AI didn't tell us is that the places that we needed tickets. So Wind Cave National Park, you actually need to purchase tickets for you can walk around, but you can't go down into the caves unless you have a ticket. And I didn't mention that. And that was something that was easily found on the internet. So luckily I double checked and got the tickets we needed, but you need to get those like 3 days before. And I was right on the edge of that. The other last negative thing about using AI for our vacation was the fact that it seemed to push certain places. There were a few places that it just really seemed to push, even though it wasn't on our route, and it was kind of making us go out of the way for this particular town, a couple particular towns. So it was kind of weird. I mean, I thought it wasn't bad at first, but once I didn't listen to it, we just yerked those out, and probably saved us a little mileage. Because when you're renting an RV, mileage counts, because you're only allowed so many miles per day. So here were some good things about AI and what it was helpful in doing. So the good things about AI helping with vacation, it was very good on seeing or listing the must-see sites at each location. So it was good at knowing those. It probably pulled from like lots of blogs and different things, but it was good at listing those. It was good at, although I didn't totally double check the mileage, but it was really good at estimating mileage and time. And I think it probably even gave us a little extra time, more than what we needed, because we actually went a little faster on our mileage and time than it had predicted. So that was good. I used both Chat and Claude AI to help me with this trip. And I like the different perspectives. I kind of like Chat better than Claude, as far as accuracy and such. But anyway, I think both of them are really good at, when you put some ideas in, it, at least for me, it helps me think of another more new ideas. One of the things I really liked too, it helped, we wanted to see a couple extra states. Nothing big, but just to say we've been there, and it helped us figure out places that was the closest that we could pop over the state line. So that was nice. And I mean, probably something I could have figured out on my own, but it'd probably taken a lot longer, and that was able to help. And I have one of those big old atlas maps, and I use that to double check. I actually had that with us, so we could double check a lot on the way. The other good thing that I liked, when I told it each park that we were going to visit, it actually had the cost of each park and how much it would cost to get in. Because I'm a veteran, we didn't actually need that, but had that been a regular person that needs to pay, or regular family that needs to pay for each entryway, that would have been helpful to know. Otherwise, that would have been a surprise. The other great thing, since it knew that we were staying in an RV, it had lots of RV suggestions, although I did ask this specifically to provide some suggestions for places in the area. Now, I ended up not using any of their suggestions. I just tried to figure out the required places that we were going to be, like Yellowstone, since we were going to be in the park, and I knew that those were probably going to be full, which I was right, that I reserved those, and the rest we just kind of freestyled. But it was helpful if we would have used it, but we didn't end up using it. So overall, if you are going to use AI for your vacation, I think it's a good idea. I would try a couple out. You can try Claude and Chat, just to, have a couple different suggestions, or to have a couple different ideas on, because they do work different. But a combination of those is good. If you do use AI, which I think it's a good idea because it really helps cut down on some planning time. If you like to plan, but you're not got all the time in the world, I think it's good. I would just encourage you to double check, and probably double check before 3 days before your trip, because I was panicking a little because it was adjusting our stuff so much, but it ended up working out. I mean, that is the power of prayer. The fact that I did it not 2 days before we left, but 3 days, which I ended up being able to reserve everything we needed in time. So if you do go to Yellowstone, just so you know, those campsites do go out quickly. We had lucked out on a few national parks in that there were no openings, and then I would just happen to look, and then there would be an opening, and I'd just snatch it. So anyway, so that worked out. But again, I think that has a lot to do with prayer. That is better than using AI, is to pray before you go on your trip and as you're planning your trip. And God will use all things for good. As we know, He can even do it for blessings like vacation. So we had a great time. I hope you check out the videos. I was going to do this whole vlog thing, and we just did not have time. We had put so much into just going each place and being in an RV. Like, it may have been, I don't know if a hotel would have been easier or not, but it was a lot. It was a lot of driving. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun, and it was a lot to see. And it rained the 2 days we were in Yellowstone, so we skipped a couple of things just because the rain was coming down so hard. But we got to see a lot, considering, and we prayed about the weather too. And God did lighten up the rain a day and a half to help us to see a lot, and we were thrilled about that. So I hope you check out the other videos, and I would love to hear your experience if you have used AI to plan your vacation or to help plan it. I would love to hear your experience. Overall, I would say it was very helpful, but I would not rely on it completely. We still got to use our brains, because those are a lot better than AI any day. Anyway, thanks for joining me today, and I hope you have a blessed day.